Ever wondered how Montreal Smoked Meat, a Canadian culinary treasure, is made? Let's embark on a flavorful journey to the heart of Quebec, Canada, where this iconic dish was born. Montreal Smoked Meat is a celebration of flavors, a symphony of smokiness and spices that has been a beloved staple in the Canadian cuisine for over a century. Imagine sinking your teeth into a thick, juicy slice of smoked meat, its savory flavors dancing on your palate. And you'll understand why this dish is more than just food, it's a piece of cultural heritage. The origin of Montreal smoked meat traces back to the influx of Jewish immigrants from Eastern Europe in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. They brought with them their age-old recipes, one of which was a method of smoking and curing meat, typically beef brisket, which eventually evolved into the Montreal smoked meat we know and love today. This culinary gem gained popularity in the bustling delis of Montreal, where it was served piled high on rye bread with a slathering of mustard. The melt-in-your-mouth tenderness of the meat, the rich smokiness, and the sharp tang of the mustard created a taste sensation that quickly became a local favorite. Over time, the fame of Montreal smoked meat spread far beyond the city's borders. Today, it is savored not only in Canada, but also in many corners of the world. Despite its global reach, the essence of Montreal smoked meat remains rooted in the traditional methods of preparation passed down through generations. Now, isn't your mouth watering at the thought of this delectable dish? The good news is, you don't need to travel all the way to Canada to enjoy it. With a bit of patience and the right ingredients, you can recreate the magic of Montreal smoked meat right in your kitchen. So, are you ready to unravel the secrets of this Canadian culinary masterpiece? To immerse yourself in the art of smoking and curing meat, crafting a gastronomic delight that is sure to impress your friends and family? Stay tuned as we dive into the step-by-step process of making your very own Montreal smoked meat at home. First things first, gather the ingredients. Our journey to crafting a perfect Montreal smoked meat begins with a magnificent piece of beef brisket. This will be the star of our culinary show, so choose wisely. Now, to bring out the brisket's inherent flavors and transform it into a mouth-watering masterpiece, we'll need a few more players. Enter curing salt, the unsung hero in our recipe, gifting our brisket with that enticing pink hue and preserving its succulent taste. Next up, we have our seasonings. Black pepper and coriander seeds will provide that much-needed spice kick, while sugar will balance it out with a subtle sweetness. Let's not forget the garlic, infusing our meat with an irresistible aroma and depth of flavor. Last, but certainly not least, we need wood chips. These are crucial for smoking and will gift our brisket with that iconic smoky essence. With all these ingredients ready, we are set to start our culinary adventure. The journey to a flavorful Montreal smoked meat starts with the curing process. Let's delve into the heart of this culinary adventure, the curing process. This is where we start to infuse our beef brisket with that rich, distinctive Montreal smoked meat flavor. It all begins with creating the perfect curing mix. Our curing mix is a blend of 5 simple ingredients, each playing a key role in the flavor profile of our smoked meat. First up is curing salt, the unsung hero of our mix. It not only preserves the meat, but also imparts a delectable, savory edge to the brisket. Next, we have black pepper. Now, this is where we introduce some heat into the mix. Black pepper gives our brisket that slight kick, a gentle nudge on the palate that sets Montreal smoked meat apart. Coriander, the third ingredient, brings an aromatic freshness to the mix. Its lemony undertone balances out the heat from the black pepper and adds a certain depth to the overall flavor. Sugar and garlic complete our curing mix. Sugar is a sweet counterpoint to the savory, spicy, and fresh flavors in the mix. It rounds up the taste nicely. And garlic, well, it brings everything together with its earthy, pungent flavor. Once we've combined these ingredients into our curing mix, it's time to apply it to the beef brisket. The application is a labor of love. You want to ensure that every inch of the brisket is coated with the curing mix, that there's no spot left untouched. And then we wait. Patience is the secret ingredient here. The brisket needs time to absorb all the flavors from the curing mix. The curing process can take anywhere from 3 to 5 days, depending on the size of the brisket. Remember, the longer the curing process, the more flavorful your Montreal smoked meat will be. The wait will be well worth it, I promise. Once the meat is fully cured, it's time to move on to the next exciting step, smoking. Now comes the part where we transform our cured beef into a smoky, flavorful delight. Picture this, a symphony of flavors and aromas blending harmoniously, creating a feast for your senses. That's what we're aiming for in the smoking process. It's the heart of our Montreal smoked meat journey, where our cured beef takes on a rich, smoky character that is truly irresistible. First, let's get our smoker ready. If you're using a charcoal smoker, ignite the charcoal and let it heat up until it's covered with a thin layer of gray ash. For an electric smoker, preheat to around 225 degrees Fahrenheit. The goal here is to create an environment that's hot enough to cook the meat, but gentle enough to avoid drying it out. Once our smoker is heated, it's time to introduce the star of the show, our cured beef. Place it on the grill grate, fat side up. This way, as the fat slowly melts during the smoking process, it will baste the meat, keeping it juicy and adding an extra layer of flavor. Now let's talk about wood chips. They are the secret ingredient in our smoking process. Each type of wood imparts a unique flavor to the meat. For our Montreal smoked meat, we'll use a mix of maple and cherry wood chips. This combination lends a subtly sweet and fruity flavor that beautifully complements the savory notes of the cured beef. Remember to add the wood chips gradually to the smoker. This will ensure a steady stream of smoke and maintain a consistent temperature. It's a slow and patient process, taking about 3 to 4 hours. But trust me, the wait is worth it. As the beef smokes, it goes through a marvelous transformation. The smoke slowly penetrates the meat, infusing it with a depth of flavor that's simply sublime. The meat turns a beautiful mahogany color, a sure sign that it's absorbing all that smoky goodness. Once the meat is smoked to perfection, we are just one step away from savoring our delicious Montreal smoked meat. The last step in our culinary journey is steaming the smoked meat. This is the moment when the magic happens, when the flavors meld and the meat transforms into a tender, juicy delicacy. The process of steaming is a gentle one, coaxing the best out of the smoked meat without causing it to lose its rich, smoky flavor. You'll need a large pot, a steamer insert, and of course your lovingly prepared smoked meat. Remember to have enough water in the pot, but not so much that it touches the meat. The aim is to envelop the meat in steam, not boil it. Place your pot on the stove and bring the water to a simmer. Then carefully place your smoked meat on the steamer insert. The key here is to ensure the meat is not cramped or squished. You want the steam to circulate freely around the meat, reaching every nook and cranny. Now, it's time for patience. Close the lid and let the heat and steam work their magic. Check in every half an hour or so to make sure the water hasn't completely evaporated. If it's running low, add in some more boiling water to keep the steam going. How long to steam? Well, the answer is until the meat is tender and juicy, which could take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. A good rule of thumb is to check the meat with a fork. If it easily falls apart, your Montreal smoked meat is ready for the next stage, devouring. Remember, the aim of steaming isn't just to cook the meat, but to make it tender and to heighten the flavors infused during the smoking process. It's the final touch to your masterpiece, the last brushstroke on your canvas. So, take your time, enjoy the process, and let the anticipation build. Because once the lid is lifted, the aroma of your homemade Montreal smoked meat will fill your kitchen, a sure sign that your culinary journey is coming to a delicious end. And there you have it, your very own homemade Montreal smoked meat ready to be savored and enjoyed. Let's quickly revisit the steps to making your own Montreal smoked meat. First, we gathered all the necessary ingredients. Remember, quality matters. Choose fresh and high-quality beef, spices, and wood chips to ensure a flavorful result. Next, we went on to the curing process. This is where the magic begins. The beef was thoroughly coated with our special spice blend and left to cure for a week, absorbing all those wonderful flavors. Then came the smoking process, where we slowly smoked our cured beef over low heat for several hours. The smoke from the wood chips permeated the meat, giving it that iconic Montreal smoked meat flavor. Lastly, we steamed the smoked meat until it was tender and juicy, ready to be sliced and served. Remember, the key to a great Montreal smoked meat is patience and careful attention to each step. Happy cooking!